Terry, normally we have you in a recording studio and at a radio station, and you produced a song If You Wait Too Long, or a tune, I should say. And can you tell us what that's all about and why?
Well, it's about fracking, which is a very polluting industry. And just like the tar sands out west, they try to tell you that it's a more efficient, cheaper way of getting natural gas and oil, but in a true sense, what it does is it pollutes the water table, and we're talking about ancient aquifers that are being polluted, and they use a lot of water in both processes. And I think the most important thing that people kind of overlook is that once it has been extracted, it has to be transported, and that involves rail and pipeline. And if you take into consideration what happened in Quebec a while ago, I've noticed in the last few years more and more petroleum cars passing through Parry Sound here. And there's a variety of exposure to schools, the Georgian Bay, which is pristine. And if you can imagine just the tall bridge over the harbor down here, if there was ever an accident there, it would be catastrophic.
When you look out over Georgian Bay or from your home in Carling and you see that beautiful changing colors and what could happen, and think about it, or just envision just partially, what does it make you feel?
There's a lot of fear involved. I mean, this is prime tourist. Our industry here is tourism. Not to mention the natural environment, which is, it's so important to our survival in the end. Fresh water, I mean, think about it. We're on the Great Lakes here. It's 1/5 of the world's fresh water, and I think people need to get educated. The whole point of the internet and Google is to, if everybody did a little research and cared enough to in whatever little way can lean toward alternative energies and resources. And I think people tend to think that it's only me, what can I do, I'm one. Well, I know it's a cliche, but the power of one is really what we're talking about.
Terry, you're telling me a story about years ago when you were on construction and dangling off the trestle bridge in Parry Sound. Tell me how you felt and what you thought.
Well, back in the day, I used to train OPP troop teams and special forces, task force, that kind of thing. And one of the things we do is we take them into high places with unusual exits and teach them how to rappel and climb rope and to rig rope. And one day, the bridge here in Parry Sound was one of our spots that we would clandestinely go to at night sometimes to train these people. And one night, lo and behold, we were getting on rope, and a freight train came out of the south, and so we jumped on rope and rappelled down about 20-30 feet below the track. And I was quite, as the train went over, I was quite surprised at how the bridge galloped. I mean, the whole thing moved up and down, and we were literally being, yanked up and down on rope. And it was quite a scary experience in terms of realizing that there was that much dynamics in that old bridge.
And the point, I think, would be that at that point in time, there wasn't a lot of concern regarding what was contained in the tankers.
No, it was mostly, could be anything from lumber to, boxcars, your average freight, machinery, whatever. These days, of course, I don't know if you pay attention to what goes by on the rail, but if you do, you'll see a lot more petroleum going by.
Terry, we're on Gibson Street looking at a bridge that comes and goes over towards the schoolyard at William Beatty School. Look at that date. Does that kind of reflect some ideas in your mind?
Well, I wonder what the standards were in regards to concrete back in 1938.
Now walk with me for a minute. I see a sign down there that I see a lot of trestles around Parry Sound and bridges have, and pointing out the concern about what happened in Quebec.
Yes, no bomb trains. If a train came off this thing at any point, it would definitely be a bomb.
Well, come walk with me for a minute, and we're looking at the angles, remembering that this was built some time ago, well before there was concern about oil and bitumen and sloshy stuff happening. And you look at those angles of the train coming around over here, does that get something going in your mind about what people should be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, carrying liquid in tanker cars, I would imagine, like you say, it sloshes around a bit, and you create an angle coming in here. You wonder what that would do to the balance of the load, or even the twisting action in the steel itself.
Well, let's talk very quickly, because we're near a schoolyard. If something should happen, and evacuating people, that is scary.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I would say, exposed. The school is exposed to that potential danger.
Terry, we just were over on River Street, and we were near the dam, and there was quite a bit of angles and concerns that kind of got raised by various people over there, and it doesn't look so good in some ways. I just wonder, should people be discussing what is happening through this town?
Definitely. That's another exposed site where a potential derailing would probably take out the dam and then once again pollute Georgian Bay. And that whole area is residential as well. I mean, it could be very catastrophic.
Terry, we're looking at the Charles W. Stockey Center. You've been on stage and you performed, and you'd like to be able to continue to do that, not only just perform, but have people come and participate and come to the area and visit. Now, we expressed and heard some concerns that could be impacted by what we just visioned. What do you think about the economy here in Parry Sound?
It would be devastated. Tourism is our main thing here, and trying to develop culture and the arts. This pristine area would be totally affected along with the economy.
Well, Terry, as we're seeing the bridge here again, I'm going to just kind of swing over towards the Island Queen. But if we look away across the bay, we're sort of getting in the direction of Parry Island. So there's more than just the town of Parry Sound, long term, that are going to be impacted.
Definitely, everybody in the area, all the businesses affected by tourism, everything would come to a total stop, and I can't even fathom the cost of a cleanup, and the effect would last for decades.
Now, you know what? Big question on people's minds. They're always saying, what can I do? Now, I know you went up into the Arctic, and a lot of people complimenting on you for taking a stand and going out on a limb, but you don't always have to jump on a ship or carry a flag or run up and down. There's some little things, just even as simple as talking to each other, that let's get together. What do you think that some of the things that people could do initially to start raising concerns or having at least a discussion about this would be?
Educate yourself. It's your responsibility as a citizen, and question more. Don't believe everything that comes across corporate media. That's what the web is for, is to do some research. And even if we did a little, take 20 minutes a week and research some ideas, get educated, so that people with agendas like corporations and politicians they can't pull the wool over your eyes. You're informed at that point. And like I said earlier, even if it's for your cottage, invest in a little solar panel, invest in alternative energies, because that in hand will put money into that new infrastructure.